Last episode we said goodbye to Liverpool, but our adventure through England was just beginning. We are headed into the spectacular Yorkshire Dales. We'll explore railway viaducts, breathtaking waterfalls, medieval castles, before travelling almost 2,000 years back in time as we walk Hadrian's Wall and uncover the remains of a Roman Empire. Unfortunately, it also began with a rather unwelcome surprise when we discover our hire car had picked up a few extra scratches. Before chasing Roman history, we make a stop in medieval England. Skipton Castle has stood here since Norman times, survived a Civil War siege, and still invites visitors to climb its towers and peer through its ancient arrow slits. This is our journey through Yorkshire before crossing into Scotland. So we're here, making our way to the Norman Arch. John Clifford, eh? Part of the castle is still the private residence, so we're not allowed to go into parts of it. Apparently some Italians own it. But anyway, let's see what we can find. The dungeon. You're a 6-footer, you're a duck. That's been short 900 years ago. 900 years ago.
Yeah, there's room for more.
Secure custody of prisoners. There are no records of escapes. And here we enter the old kitchen. Pizza ovens. So this tree was planted in 1659. It's 350 years old or something. Every room's got a fireplace. They must have used a bloody lot of wood. The Lord's bedchamber. Lord Skipton and his lady. Well, as you all know, I'm doing lots of beer reviews, so we can only hope there's some beer on offer. Smells a bit winey.
Like beer in Chester.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nothing to sample.
You smell wine?
I can smell wine, yeah. Exploring castles is thirsty work. After wandering through Skipton Castle and even checking out its old wine and beer cellar, we headed back to the Tempest Arms, and you know what that means. It's time for our first Yorkshire beer review. At the Tempest Inn in the Yorkshire Dales area. We're now travelling by ourselves. We're finally along the last stretch. So I've gone for a Hopnik IPA. Topping, malt caramel. It's got a hint of caramel. It's very nice, good colour, nice aftertaste, good head retention there. That's quite nice. You know, when you've been travelling for weeks and weeks, you started in Italy with friends and you had a great time. Where did we go next? Then we went to Budapest. A couple of days by ourselves, then we joined other friends and we got on a riverboat and we travelled down rivers to Amsterdam. And then we had a family with us for a while and I introduced them to more families. And then we were alone again, and then we went to London, and then we met up with friends again in Liverpool, and then we had a canal boat for 2 weeks, and you finally get to spend time with your wife. Time for a beer. Hopnik IPA. It's very nice. Yeah, it's very refreshing. Session ale. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Cheers. A new day and another chance to discover why the Yorkshire Dales are considered one of England's most beautiful regions. Today we're visiting Bolton Abbey. More than 850 years ago, Augustinian monks built a priory here next to the River Wharfe, creating a place of worship surrounded by rolling countryside that has changed remarkably little over the centuries. From the air, it's easy to appreciate why this peaceful valley has drawn visitors for hundreds of years. Now it's our turn to explore it from the ground. So this is the Bolton Abbey. So we're going to go for a wander over there, have a looky see. Alright, we're going to have a check out of the Abbey first. Maybe there's an information plaque somewhere.
Yeah.
Hope one of them falls in, that'll make a good video. The sun's hitting that just nicely, makes it quite a nice picture. Leaving Bolton Abbey behind, we followed one of the many walking trails through the Yorkshire Dales. Before long, we stumbled across St Michael's Church at Linton. Standing here amongst the stones that have witnessed almost 9 centuries of history, I couldn't help wonder what life must have been like back then, the hardships people endured, and the incredible faith and determination it must have taken to build places like this, long before modern machinery ever existed.
The local patchwork group made that.
$1885 it says on that one. A few oldies in here. In memory of William Morrison of Linton Mill, who died on the November 7th, 1897, aged 50 years. Also of Jane of the above, who died March 1st, 1909, aged 82. Looks like we're coming up to the stepping stones. Now, is Kim going to walk across them? Or is there another way? Are you going across them, Kim?
There's a walk path that follows around the parapet.
Yeah, but you got to be on the other side.
Yeah?
That's what the guy said.
Oh, okay.
Look at her go, like a mountain goat. Whoa, swing your leg over, love. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Leg over. And down we go. And now, after miserably failing the stepping stones, it's time for Ingleton Falls and a public footpath to Grassington. Well-worn bridge. Turns out we had to go down here. Wasn't very well signposted. Anyway, we're getting there. Looks like these guys are fly fishing. After exploring abbeys, ancient churches and peaceful walking trails, we slowed down to enjoy the simple things, watching a fly fisherman casting into the River Wharfe, before wandering through the cobbled streets of Grassington, finishing the day with coffee and cake, and a look at a classic Yorkshire pub. Days like this remind us that the best adventures aren't always the busiest, they're the ones you never want to end. So we've decided to go for a walk at the Ingleton Waterfalls Trail. It's 4.5 miles. It's going to take us about 2.5 hours. Some parts are slippy, and it's going to drizzle all day, right through to about 6 o'clock tonight. So, let's go for a walk, shall we? And count some waterfalls. And here we are at waterfall number 1. Kim's going to give you a description of waterfall number 1. Aren't you, Kim?
Pecker Falls, apparently.
Pecker? Too cold to get your pecker out. Oh, it's just gone 10:30 a.m. We had a big breakfast, so we're going to skip lunch. We'll probably have a light afternoon tea. So it's going to take 4.5 hours. We'll be out of here at 3, if that's correct. And then we're going to the Mason's Arms for dinner. And we're going to have a good time. Quite pretty, this section. A little birdie just over there having a flip about. But water goes down from there. Quite nice. My instructor has walked off, so anyway, that's waterfall number 3. Don't know what it is. My tour guide has left me. Coming up to place mark number 4. Insert name here if we keep the brochure when I edit this. My tour guide and instructor of waterfalls. Of course, if you ever needed any coffee money, just need to grab a coin out of here. I'm guessing these people have come here specifically with a hammer and a coin. What's the go with the coins? And how many people have tried to rip some out? Oh, here's another one full of coins called the Money Tree. What is going on here? We came across something that stopped us in our tracks. The famous money trees. Hundreds, maybe thousands of coins hammered into fallen logs. I couldn't help but wonder, how old are some of these coins? Are there Victorian pennies hidden in there? Have some been here for 50, maybe 100 years? Nobody seems to know for sure. It was one of those unexpected moments that made us stop, look a little closer, and simply enjoy the mystery. From here you can see the first waterfall. There are 5 main waterfalls at Pecker Falls, dropping 30 metres over sandstone embedded with slate. What's that one called? Pecker?
Yeah.
So I'm showing you Pecker right now. By now we'd been walking for a couple of hours, but somehow every bend in the trail revealed something new. Cascading waterfalls, moss-covered rocks, ancient woodland. It felt like we'd stepped into another world. The gentle drizzle never really stopped, but somehow that just seemed to suit England perfectly. Kim tackled every slippery staircase and rocky path with caution, and despite a few nervous moments, she never put a foot wrong. As for Pecker Falls, well, every Australian probably giggles at that name. We certainly did, but whatever its name, this was one beautiful walk. And as the valley finally opened into the rolling Yorkshire Dales, we couldn't help feeling that every step had been worth it. Clouds are rolling in as we're walking through. So we're in the middle of nowhere on our walk for the waterfalls. It looks like there's an ice cream van. I just saw a couple of blokes walk past eating ice cream. And it's all Just when we thought we'd left civilization behind, there it was, a coffee van in the middle of the Yorkshire Dales. We couldn't resist. Kim declared hers undrinkable, but I finished mine. Sometimes a warm coffee is comforting after a long, wet walk. One final waterfall and one final look back. Then almost back at the car park, another surprise. Towering above us was this magnificent viaduct. We'd seen amazing things today, castles, money trees, waterfalls, but Yorkshire still hadn't finished showing off. Yesterday's walk had taken us through waterfalls, woodland and hidden valleys. But today, the landscape opened up, bigger, wilder, and waiting for us in the morning mist was Ribblehead. Completed in 1875, Ribblehead Viaduct was one of the greatest engineering achievements of Victorian Britain. 24 massive stone arches built by thousands of navvies working in one of England's harshest environments. It stretches more than 400 metres across the valley and remarkably is still carrying trains every single day on the Settle Carlisle Railway. Standing here, it's hard to believe this incredible structure is more than 150 years old, and even harder to believe it's still doing exactly what it was meant to do. We've driven up here to Buttertub's... what? Buttertub what? Pass. Because it's got some interesting formations. All we noticed was that the sheep are bloody crazy and they don't get off the road. Have a look at this. So that fella there, he did not stop licking the road as we drove past. If you put his head up, that would hit him with a mirror. But this is the real reason why we're here, because they all look like butter tubs, apparently. There's a bloody great waterfall there. So that water must be leaching out of the hill. The butter tubs. Rainwater becomes slightly acidic after absorbing carbon dioxide. Now, do you reckon that sheep's going to move? What are the chances? Let's have a look. Sheep's looking at car. Sheep saying, what? Want me to move? Bloody hell, okay, but I'm going back. The Yorkshire Dales National Park is famous for its limestone scenery. At Buttertubs, over thousands of years, slightly acidic water has eaten away the 325 million year old carboniferous limestone rock to create these weird shafts with their distinctive fluted edges. Rainwater seeps into natural cracks, faults and joints in the rock, and over time the cracks have grown into vertical shafts or potholes we see today. Some of the potholes are up to 24 metres deep, which is interesting for a country that's miles, but anyway, and is still growing as water continues to trickle into them. Wait, Kim has found more. Oh, they look like butter tubs. What an interesting formation. From waterfalls to viaducts and just now butter tubs, Yorkshire really does have a thing for unusual names. Let's see what else this area has in store. Just down the road sits Bolton Castle. Built over 600 years ago, it's one of the best preserved medieval castles in England. And yes, unlike most castles, this one still has some of its roof. Time to see if we can avoid the dungeon, although maybe Kim might like to leave me there. Children must be closely supervised, Kim. Keep going this way. Gardens. Oh, we've got to come through there. Admissions. There we go. So what area is this, Kim? The chapel. Number 13, according to this. This is the castle chapel, dedicated more than 600 years ago in 1399. 6 priests once held daily services here for the Scrope family, and it's quite possible Mary, Queen of Scots, worshipped here during the 6 months she was held at Bolton Castle in 1568. Even with the roof gone, it's still one of the most peaceful places in the castle.
Wouldn't have been too bad.
What is that?
This wouldn't have been too
What is it?
The monks' rooms.
They left their bloody clothes.
Have they?
Monks'
Told you they left
cell.
clothes.
As well as following a rigorous 24-hour cycle of prayer and meditation, many monks also worked as scribes and copyists. In the age before printing presses, copying books by hand was a lengthy and skillful process. You see the staircase goes to nowhere. Oh, there's someone right at the top. What room is this, Kim? The solar. Which means the solar has nothing to do with sunshine. Think of it as the medieval lounge room. After entertaining everyone downstairs, this is where the lord and lady could finally kick back. Well, as much as medieval nobles ever did. Where's she gone? What's in there? Oh, the lavatory. Not in use anymore. Yes. Oh, sure that would have been fun. Straight for the gardens.
Thank you.
Bit of meat is probably served here. Right, down to the courtyard we go. I always thought castle staircases twisted the other way, giving right-handed defenders the advantage. But not every staircase was built for battle. Here at Bolton Castle, some simply connected the family's living quarters. Proof this was as much as a grand home as it was a fortress. The threshing floor. More parts of the kitchen. Whistles. Battlement there. The guard room. Room. The guard room, the soldiers would have been on duty guard in the Great Fortulus when the castle was filled with business. I always imagine castles as places of battle and sieges, but standing here in the courtyard you realise most days were probably much more ordinary. People working, children playing, meals being cooked, life simply carrying on behind these walls. Of course, not everyone who came here was free to leave. Let's go and see the dungeon. And if these walls could talk, I suspect they'd have some incredible stories to tell. Let's have a look at the dungeon. Hey, who's that down there?
That's it. And then, woo! Good effort.
Ah, the smithy. I don't know if that was from the 1300s. And the bakehouse is next to the brew house. You can see blazing fire beneath this arch. From the bakehouse to the brew house. I'd say we've finished our tour in exactly the right place. The castle may no longer be brewing its own ale, but we know just where to find a local Yorkshire beer. Let's see just what they've got. So we're in a broken something or other, and we're staying in a hotel next door where the Wi-Fi is broken, so it's quite apt. We've had a busy day today. We went to Castle, which was very good. We went to a hole in the ground that's mentioned by butter tubs. That was pretty good. Having a Timothy Taylor's Pale Ale. Colour's pretty good. It's a cask one, so they had to do that thingy. Cool. Smells alright. Yeah, it's another average pale ale. Flavoured okay. You know, when you really want a nice fruity pale ale and you're not getting them anymore, and you don't want to keep going to the bar and trying everything I've got, and you've got to settle for something. I'm settling for this one.
So let me guess. Can I guess the rating this time?
No, 3 out of 5.
3? Cheers.
Okay, we're off to Hadrian's, part of Hadrian's Wall. It's 73 miles long, so we're going to do bits of it. This one there's a tree. Let's have a look at a tree. The Romans used to walk here. We're going to look for, look, that's a bit of a wall over there. See that wall? That may well be it. We will find out directly. So that there is Hadrian's Wall. I
Come a long way to see this.
don't know that he necessarily touched every brick.
Did he come in and
He came to check on the work, he did. So this is the wall built by Hadrian when he decided to consolidate the Roman Empire. And he decided to build this wall in AD 72, finished in AD 78, to keep those northern heathens out of Britannia. And so the Roman legions used to have to walk this wall to stop those horrible Scots from getting in. But they'd trade with them. And there goes Roman legionnaire Cimus of Pertharus, now Augusturus, tackling the Roman steps, which were built, I don't know, probably in the 60s for tourists. So it goes all along this ridge line to keep those dastardly Scottish out. Now it's a bit windy and the wind is a bit cold. So this is one of the outposts on the Hadrian's Wall where the army used to protect. So there'll be 10 people living in there. So I'm standing inside the Roman fortress where the legionnaires would camp up at night or day, depending on what shift they were on. The walls are bloody thick. How are you going to penetrate that? But along come the modern man and he ripped the walls down so he can make his fences and his barns and stuff. So we found the tree. They chopped the bastard down. I've chopped it down. Let's go find out why. So I've just found out from these locals that the tree was chopped down purposefully by a disgruntled person who was upset with the National Trust. So he chopped the tree down one evening, him and another chap. They finally tracked him down and they're both in jail. Bloody idiots. Today we're walking one of Britain's most famous landmarks, Hadrian's Wall. Built by the Romans almost 1,900 years ago, it stretches for around 117 kilometres from coast to coast and originally stood up to 5 metres high in places. Thousands of soldiers and labourers spent around 6 years building it, not to keep everyone out, but to control who came in and out of the Roman Empire. Our destination was the famous Sycamore Gap tree. For more than 150 years it stood alone in this natural dip in the landscape, becoming one of Britain's most photographed trees. Sadly, just months before we arrived, it was senselessly cut down by a vandal. Today, only the stump remains, but somehow it still draws people, like us, from all over the world. So Kim's taking the low road, I'm taking the high road, because Kim doesn't want to do these steps that are up here. So, we at the car park apparently. I think Kim's going to be coming along that track there somewhere, so she might turn up there and meet me up there. So it's time for some Roman history. We've come to experience the edge of an empire. We're going to join the Roman army and we're going to have a diverse fighting force. We've walked Hadrian's Wall, now it's time to meet the people who built it. Welcome to the Roman Army Museum, where we discover what life was really like serving on the very edge of the Roman Empire. Let's head inside.
Legionaries join an infantry unit as part of a group of 8 men, a contubernium, who all share sleeping quarters. New soldiers are stuck with fatigues, dirty jobs, until they secure a specialist post. Back in Rome, he's a member of the Senate, the Empire's 600-strong ruling elite. But in the field, he commands his legion of some 6,000 troops, each a Roman citizen.
More Roman stuff today. Today we're at Chester's Roman Fort and the Clayton Museum. Okay, fort first while it's not raining. And a bathhouse. So those pesky Romans were here too, 1600 years ago and a bit. Well, they left 1600 years ago, didn't they? Yeah. 407 AD they buggered off. Oh, another interpretation board. That's what it used to look like. An artist's reconstruction. Emperor Hadrian ruled from AD 117 to 138, inherited the largest empire in Roman history. So, hopefully you can hear me above the wind. Chester's fort was a cavalry one, so the horse riders came from Spain, northern Spain, which was still under Roman command back then. They protected the bridge and Hadrian's Wall, which crossed over the river North Tyne, to tread where only Romans have trodden before. Hey Kim, this is the barracks. This is where the troops used to live. It was occupied by a cavalry regiment, 500 men and their horses. They were on military duties and spent most of their time in the barracks, where they ate, relaxed and slept. What have you found, Kim?
How 3 men would live in this space along with their horses.
Huh? They'd sleep in here with their horse? Wow. I don't reckon these bits of wood were here back then. So now we're coming up to the Commandant's house, the commanding officer and his family. Bet you had his own dunnies here. What's going on with this? Would they have fires under here to heat the floor or what? I don't understand. Hello, what's going on here? No chimney in the back. The museum and grounds brought the Roman army to life. These ruins remind you this was once a bustling military town. Around 500 cavalrymen and their horses lived and trained here, guarding the very edge of the Roman Empire. Tomorrow we're heading further west to see where Hadrian's Wall finally comes to an end. So we made it to Newcastle on Tyne, and this is where the Sycamore fort and Hadrian's Wall's End is. That's the old fort. So that is Wall's End. From all those miles over there, and they bloody ripped it down. So we're inside where the fort used to be. They've reconstructed it in a way that you can walk around. Obviously there's no walls left. It's quite interesting. That's the granary. It used to save all the wheat and stuff. Stay dry. The water tank, which was below ground. Frog's Haven, possibly. So there you have it. The fort of Segundunum.
So what started our holiday in Rome with the Colosseum and the Forum finishes here.
In Britain, Britannia.
At the final frontier of their empire.
Our time in England has come to an end. From Roman forts to medieval castles, it's been an incredible journey. But next time we cross into Scotland, Edinburgh, the Highlands, ancient castles, and hopefully a wee dram or two. If you'd like to join us for the next adventure, hit subscribe so you don't miss it. We'll catch you in Scotland.